This past weekend, we went to a KISS convention in Sarasota, Florida called Kiss Cancer Goodbye, and we're going to tell you our experience. We went to Kiss Cancer Goodbye. It was a very exciting experience. This was a last-minute decision by us. Basically, when Eric Singer got announced, and that was less than a month ago, that we decided we were going to drive 9 hours down to Sarasota, Florida. This was renamed from Creatures Fest about 3 years ago, and all of the profits go to charity. This is for cancer research. So on top of getting to meet these people, it's also for a good cause. So we decided to show up.
And it was really neat because there was a ton of artists there.
Yes.
We had Del Torborg, wrestler, the Demon from WCW. He was there in his full outfit. We had famous photographers. You had famous clothes makers. You had just
tribute bands.
Yeah.
We had Ace Frehley's band. Ace wasn't there, but his band was there. And if y'all know me, then you know that I love them probably more than I love Ace. And so everything was really exciting. So we filmed a little intro that we're going to play here once we got down there. Guess where we are? We're in Sarasota, Florida, and we're here for the Kiss Cancer Goodbye KISS convention. This is the second day of the convention, but we're going today to watch all the performances and do the meet and greets, and we're going to bring y'all along for the ride. So right after this, we pulled up at the convention, and one thing that we noticed really quickly was that the venue was very small. This was almost like a church venue, which was not what we were expecting, but it was honestly a really nice venue. As much as it was small, it was very personal, and these artists were walking around with the people. There was many times that we were sitting there or walking around and talking to people, and I didn't even know that these were famous people. And that was kind of my biggest fear. I was like, what if I meet somebody and I don't even know? And that ended up happening quite a few times.
Yeah. They show up performing later and be, oh, I was talking to that guy.
Yeah, I saw them on stage and I was like, wait a minute. It's I just sat next to this guy. So after we got there, the first thing we did was go to Expo City. So Expo City was where all the vendors were. So conventions, the most important thing in a convention is buying stuff, spending money.
And these were higher level vendors with some very rare and interesting stuff.
The first place we went to was actually Bruce Kulick's booth, which he had his team there selling very personalized items. So we got this Revenge record that's up there, and we bought the record and got it signed for $80, which is incredible pricing. But anything that you bought from his booth, they would get signed for $20 extra than the actual price.
Yeah. And
then we walked around. We had Kiss Haven, which does the stage played items, like the drum head that we have on the wall back here was from Kiss Haven. All the signed records, all of that was from them. They were there, super nice people.
Had drum heads, drumsticks.
They had everything.
Rare albums.
Right.
Yeah, they literally was they just had a table. It was $10. Anything that you want for $10. T-shirts. All kind of great stuff.
And before we get too far into this, we did only go on Saturday. So there was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but Saturday was the big day, so we decided to go on Saturday.
Yeah, 9-hour drive. Took us a while to get there.
Yeah.
It was an easy drive. It's just a long drive for us.
And then, honestly, the booth that got the most attention was the Kiss replicas. So they actually made Kiss's costumes. So they had all of the replicas from the exact same molds that they made the original costumes from. And I saw they probably got the most business of everybody, and that stuff is not cheap. Yeah,
so the outer layer was almost identical.
The inner layer was different.
They just made it lighter.
Yes.
More practical. If you wanted to wear a jacket or a vest, you could, I guess. If you really wanted to, you could wear it. Because the original costumes sometimes they have mylar backings and things,
and they were
makes them really heavy.
saying that the original costumes are pushing 80 pounds at some points. So
very
obviously you don't want to have those on all the time. But there was just a really good energy about the event. Like, everybody was super, super nice. That goes for the people working, for the fans. Really, everybody was just there to have a good time.
Yeah.
And the highlight, I think, of Expo City was meeting Dale Torborg. As we said, he's a wrestler. He took on the demon persona, and he was dressed full costume. This man is 7 feet tall in these heels. I'm 5 foot tall, so you can imagine me standing next to him, how scary that was.
Yeah, I think he's 6'6" without heels, and he had the demon boots on. So it was pretty easy to see at 7 foot, towering above everybody.
And he was so nice.
Yeah.
One of the nicest guys I've met, and he would sign everything. He signed quite a few things for us, which we will show in our haul. That's going to be our next video, so just stay tuned for that. We went and ate some lunch, came back, and, you know, we were going to go hang out at the hotel, wait for the performances, which were going to happen later. And right as we were leaving, I got a text that Eric Singer was doing a surprise signing as we speak. So, obviously I had to go grab my stuff and run back inside and try to get in line for this, because that line filled up very fast. So I met a couple people there, and we waited in line, and I was beyond nervous. I was shaking. I was freaking out, which doesn't happen with me very often. I do work in the industry, so I do get to meet a couple famous names, but I was freaking out. Like,
yeah, because we have invested quite a bit in Eric Singer.
Yes, we have. He's my favorite member of KISS, of all the members of KISS in history. I have pushing 10 things signed by him before I even went. He was the reason we went to the convention in the first place. So I was a mess.
Yeah, and we didn't know he was going to be signing. We had signed up to do a picture with Bruce and Eric that night.
Yes.
After the performance, and so that's all we knew, that we were going to be able to see him. So this was a pretty awesome surprise.
I had been hyping myself up for 10 o'clock at night when I was going to meet him, not at 12 p.m. where I'm sitting here like, oh my gosh, I'm in line to meet him right now, freaking out. But, you know, I talked to his people in line, and they were all really nice. One of them actually gave me some free merchandise, which was really cool. And when I met him, he was very, very nice person. It was one of those experiences where he wasn't just like, okay, next. Like, he was really trying to talk to everybody and give everybody a personalized experience. There was no pictures to be taken. You couldn't take a picture with him. So we all just videoed each other as we went through. And they actually let me on the stage to video a couple people who had gone before me. So I got more time up there, which was awesome. And then I walked off stage, away from the meet and greet. And as soon as I walked away, the people who got my Bruce album signed brought it back to me and said, you should go get this signed by Eric right now. So I'm not even off the stage yet, and they hand me this Revenge record, and I walk right back up there, and the people are like, oh yeah, come back. Like, because I thought I'd have to go way back through the line again, and I was like, oh, this is going to take forever.
Which you would have done.
Which I would have done. Don't get me wrong, I would have waited all day. But they took me right back up to the front, and I was like, I'm being a nuisance right now, and you know, he signed it and was super nice about it. So I got my album signed, which was awesome.
Yeah, with some other items.
I did get a CD signed and a poster customized for me. But after the signing, this is when it starts getting like chaos. Like, just wild. So I'm leaving the room, and as I'm leaving the room, a guy named John Beauvoir walks in. So if y'all don't know who this is, he produced quite a few albums for KISS in the 80s, and you cannot miss him. Like, when you see his hair, you know who it is. And I just saw him walk in, and he just starts talking to people and having a good time, and I asked for a picture, and he gave me a picture for free, and asked me if I was coming to the shows later, and I was like, oh yeah, for sure. And he was like, well, I'll be looking for you. Just like super nice guy, really random experience. A lot of people would be like, oh, you have to pay for a picture. Like,
yeah.
That's very common at these events, that you have to pay for everything. And he just took a picture. He didn't care. And it was so nice. And then I went to watch The Elder. The band performing The Elder was Todd Kearns and Jeremy Asbrock, and really amazing musicians.
Really good band.
And I just don't like The Elder. I'm sorry. Kiss fans, y'all can come for me if you want to. I'm sorry, but it's just not my favorite. But I walked in and I sat down. And when I sat down, it was really dark in there, so I couldn't really see who I was sitting next to. And I'm by myself because, I had gone through this signing or whatever. And this guy next to me is like, oh, are you enjoying the show? And I was like, yeah, it's great. And then another guy comes and sits on the other side of me and is like, oh, is this seat taken? And I'm like, no, go ahead. The show ends and the lights turn on. And who's sitting next to me? Ryan Cook, which is Ace Frehley's bass player, sitting on this side of me. And on the other side was Todd Kearns' bass player from the Handsome Devils, who had performed the night before. So that light turned on, and I just was like, oh my gosh, because I didn't know who these people were. And, we shook their hand, and I was like, oh, nice to meet you. And walked away. And that was more fun than watching The Elder, I think.
Yeah, really neat little building. There was not a bad seat anywhere.
No.
I mean, it was a very personal experience with quite a large stage that was extended out through the audience. So very, very high production value.
Yes.
They had lifts where people were going up in the air and everything short of pyro. They didn't have that, but they had lights and
everything.
Yeah, so it was really, really cool.
I met these two guys, and one of them was Mark Weiss, which is a photographer. He actually wrote a book. We're going to put it in our music Christmas list video. And I did not know who it was. There again, of just somebody that I was talking to. And I was like, this guy looks like he's somebody, but I don't know who it is. And he was a super nice guy. Same thing with Chip Zanoff. He played with Peter Criss. He's an amazing artist, producer. Didn't know who it was. All of these people that I have heard the names over and over again, but there's just not people that you think you're going to see in public.
There was almost as many performers walking around
as there was fans. Right, like all these people that I'm just seeing randomly, and it was a crazy experience.
Yeah, pretty neat.
And at the end of the night, to finish it off, was the performances. So we started with a tribute band, which I believe was Kiss America. And they were phenomenal.
Yeah, they were really
absolutely amazing.
Especially if they were just a last-minute gig.
Right.
They did a really, really good
amazing job. And then
terrific Ace Frehley impersonator. Like, he looked like him.
Top notch.
Walked like him, played like him.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty rare.
It is.
It's pretty rare to see people look like early
Kiss.
Ace.
Yeah. And then after that was Chris Jericho's band Quarantine, which Bruce Kulick played with. So everybody was freaking out. Chris Jericho is a very good performer. He's got just amazing energy. Yeah. And you could tell that he was having the time of his life up there. And I do think a lot of people there were Chris Jericho fans as well, because his meet and greet was also like out the door. People were freaking out about him. And then to finish out the night, we had Kiss Alive 2, which we had pretty much everybody performing.
Yeah, I think so.
This is when Bruce Kulick and Eric Singer came out. We had the Handsome Devils that had played the night before with Todd Kearns. And then we had Ace Frehley's band, who played, which they're just that good. Yeah, like Scotty Coogan and Ryan Cook and Jeremy Asbrock. Like, these people are very talented, and they played amazing. And I got some guitar picks from them. And it was just a really fun night. And then at the very end, everyone came out for Shout It Out Loud. Everybody got to kind of contribute. So everybody's out there and everyone's just having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least was after this, it was the Bruce Kulick and Eric Singer picture. So they bring us all into like this little hallway. And we go in, and this was kind of the stereotypical meet and greet event.
Yeah, probably the most disappointing part. I mean, it was cool. It was cool to
Yes.
see them, but it just felt so rushed.
It was. And this was the meet and greet experience of you go in and you shake the hands and you take a picture and then they shuffle you right back out. But what I thought was really cool.
How are you? How are you? See you.
Right. Was that Eric Singer had actually remembered my name from earlier. Hey, I mean, he could have not. You never know.
Yeah, because you were that cool.
I am just that cool, guys. He remembered who I was. Hey, either way, it made me feel good. So, I don't really care.
Yeah. Well, he remembered my name too. I was the dad.
Exactly.
I was the dad.
The one issue with this picture event was that we actually didn't get the pictures that night. And they said that it would be the next day. So we actually went back to the convention center the next day and we were like, we're going to pick up the picture. And I met some of the members of the Handsome Devils. I got a picture with Gabriel Connor and he was super nice. Didn't make me charge for a picture.
With his red contact.
With his red contact, but just so cool. Like,
just walking around with red contacts. Huh?
Right. Also getting to be next to Jeremy Casada, which is their drummer. Right before we left, I was walking. We went to the bathroom because, got a long drive. And I walked down the hallway and Bruce Kulick's just standing there at the end of the hallway. And I was like, oh.
Hey, Bruce.
So I kind of wave at him and security's like, oh yeah, the bathroom's over here. And it's like right next to where he's standing. And I'm like, this event was just so fun. Like, it was just really so crazy that it was just such a good time.
Yeah, if it was closer, we'd 100% do it every single year.
Yes. Now, it depends who they book next year, and we might be going back. But never know. You never know. I would recommend it, though, if you're a Kiss fan and you want to meet these people. Because I did hear that Bruce and Eric did do signings on Sunday, too.
Mm-hmm.
So they were just both of them are just such nice people. Like, you don't get a whole lot of rock stars who are just genuinely good people. And they'll sit and talk to you and have a good time. And that's what it's about.
Yeah. Really cool.
I would give it a 10 out of 10. I had a great time. And maybe we'll see you there next year. We'll see you next time.